Harlem, New York. That's where we originated. Welcome to the Baltimore Lashawan class number 3. We've been going through why the Lashawan, which is the tongue, Qadash, the holy tongue. We've been going through why the holy tongue is so important for our people. Last week and the week before, we just did a quick review of why it's important to go over the Lashawan Qadash, the holy tongue, the ancient Hebrew, is because we saw that Yahweh, who was our Savior, he spoke it. We saw that the Apostle Paul, he spoke it. And we also saw that Yahweh said he did nothing of his own. We saw that everything he did, he heard from his Father. So that was a quick review from the last couple weeks. And then we went into why we went into pretty much the preliminaries of the ancient Hebrew. We went over the alphabet. We went over how to greet a brother and sister. Now this week, we're going to just go a little bit more. Hopefully, people have been practicing the sight words. We're going to go over our sight words from last week, how to write them, and we're going to see if people did their homework. Your homework was you were supposed to finish the rest of the sight words right here from last week. We're going to see if you wrote them. And then we're going to have our new sight words for this week and just review the alphabet. We're going to start speeding it up starting next week, but I wanted to get people caught up to make sure that they're with us. Like I said, it's better to start off slow so that you get a good feel for the Hebrew. And then as we progress, we'll just add a little bit more every week. Make sure you, but while you're waiting, we got our new Hebrew sight words that we're going to go over for this week. So go on a sheet of paper if you have one. And is the camera right away? Can you see me? Go ahead and copy a sheet that looks like this, okay, and put new Hebrew sight words. And also you might want to put the date. Today is the 21st. So if you want to put in the corner, 821. Last week was 814. But you want to keep up. I give sight words each week so that you can practice and write. So what we're going to do is first let's start with a little warm up. Let's see if people remember their alphabet. Okay, let's see if people remember the Hebrew alphabet. Okay, this was the Hebrew alphabet that we started learning. And if you remember last week, we pretty much had the Hebrew, we had the Hebrew sounds, and then we had the letters or characters to go with them. So this week, I wanted to see if people, this week, now if you notice, I put it in order this week. Next week, we'll probably scramble them to see if you really remember. So what I want you to do is on your paper, those that are at home, and those that are here, you can just do it on a separate. What I want you to do is I want you to copy the chart that looks like just like this. So make a large rectangle, a good size, and then split it in half. And I want you to do that 22 times because there's 22 characters in the ancient Hebrew. And you can make some rows, maybe for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 5 rows of 4, that would be 20, and then give an extra smaller row down here. So what I want you to do first is go ahead and at the top of your paper put Hebrew alphabet, then put the ancient Hebrew language, because this is the ancient. So I want you to do that really quickly. Go ahead and copy that down. And then if you've copied that down, go ahead and copy this sheet down. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to copy a couple things down. Copy this, and then copy the new Hebrew sight words that we're going to go over this week. And then we are going to get into our new sight words, and then I'm going to quiz you. Okay, we're going to see if people are really practicing. We'll get to see if people are really studying the Hebrew, because like each week we're going to move a little faster. So go ahead and do this. I'll give you about maybe a minute or two. Go ahead and write this down. Remember, write 22 boxes, rectangle boxes, maybe 5 going across and 4 rows down. and then write the extra 2 right there. And in each box, I want you to write what I have. So the first box, I want you to write what I have at the top part. First, of course, you're going to split it in half. Then the second box, I want you to write what I have. I have this character down here. Don't write nothing in the top part. Third box, I have the sound here. Okay, don't write nothing. So just do the pattern right there. I'll give people a few seconds to do that. And while I'm giving you a few seconds to do that, there are 2 types of Hebrew written dialects that we're going to go over. This is the ancient. So the next couple of weeks we're going to go over the ancient. However, maybe in a few weeks we're going to go into the Assyrian. The Assyrian is the Hebrew that you're going to most commonly see worldwide. If you pick up a Bible or pick up a Tanakh and it's in Hebrew, it's going to mostly resemble the Assyrian, more than likely. And the Assyrian came out when we went into captivity. I think maybe it's a lot of the scribes and the people that were responsible pretty much changed, kind of variated the Hebrew. I think was more to appease the people in Assyria and Babylon, pretty much to appease their oppressors. And so that's how we got the Assyrian written language for our culture. All right, but the ancient is important because the ancient is the one that are pretty much our ancestors used. But you want to get familiar with both of them. All right, so most people you should be pretty much almost done by now, or at least you should be pretty much close to being finished. And while you're waiting, make sure you get this side too. Put new Hebrew sight words, Hebrew word in this column, English in this column, ancient Hebrew. Each week, I'm not going to. I'll make sure that you do your homework. Your homework for tonight, for the next week, is you're going to write the ancient Hebrew of our new sight words. That will get you familiar. All right, let's go over this. We'll get people involved. We'll make sure that everybody is with us. Okay, now, so last week we started off with the first sound for the Hebrew, and it was an ah, okay? That's what we start off with, okay? Does anybody remember, anybody here, how the character will look? Come, how would the character look? Okay. All right. So would resemble this. I always think of it as an A, like on its side. Okay. That's how this character would look. Okay. So if you're at home, go ahead and make sure you put that character in there. Okay. Now we got the next one. So after the ah, okay, we have the character there. Okay. So the ah, after the ah would be the, okay, we would have the ba here. Okay, if you're at home, make sure you're writing ba in. Okay, we have the ba here. And today, like I said, we're making it easier so that you can just go over it. We're putting it in order. Okay. All right. Now, we got the ga here. How would that character look for us?
Like a 7 leaning.
Kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like I'd say like a 7 leaning or a check coming down. All right, that's how our ga would look. Okay, so we got Abba Ga. Now, after the Ga, all right, we would have the
Da.
Okay, we have the Da here. All right. So we have the Da here. All right. So we got Abba Ga Da. And the symbol for the Da, it's kind of like a triangle. That's how I remember it. You can remember it, something that would help you, but that's how I remember it. Okay, so what about the Ha? How would the Ha look? All right. Kind of like a backwards F with an extra line. All right. So first line is complete. Those that are at home, make sure you write this. Don't just sit here and listen. Actually copy because you want to become familiar. Listening is good, but sometimes you Just like when you were in school, the teacher made you trace the A, trace the B on the dotted lines, because you not only need to hear a language, you have to see it, you have to write it, and you have to apply it. You got to do all of them. See it, write it, hear it, and apply it in a situation. So that's how you learn a language. Don't just sit here and listen. Listening, yes, we do start off listening as we're babies. We do start off, but then after when we start going to school, what does the teacher do? The teacher goes over the words, the letters. We have to write them. We have to write sentences and paragraphs so that we can get familiar with it. So make sure when you're those that are at home, don't just sit there. Go ahead and write it. Copy this. Okay, so next thing we have here. Okay, so we have the first line, ah, ba, ga, da, ha. All right. What will be on the next line, the second row? Will we start with a? Okay, we would have a wa here. So make sure in that blank spot, you put a wa there. Okay. All right. And now after the wa, we have the za. Whoop, markers are dropping here today. We have the za here. Okay. Now the za I always thought is pretty easy because it looks like a what? Does anybody remember out there? Okay. Looks like a Z. So the za is pretty simple because it pretty much just resembles a Z. Okay. All right. Now the next one is one that all of you should be familiar with because I'll give you a clue. It has that strong. This is the one that's coming from your throat. Okay. Does anybody remember what this is? Look, the symbol kind of looks like a ladder. This would be your. This would be your ka. Okay. And remember when I'll say the ka. All right. Remember, this is the hard ka. All right. So. Okay. All right. And now we have the ta. Okay. The ta. All right. Maybe look at your notes from last week. The ta. It would look like a. Okay. Look like kind of like a circle. And then an X going through it. Okay. All right. Now, after the ta, we have the
Yeah.
Okay, we got the ya. All right, so we got the second row finished. So, and make sure you're saying with me as I go over. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya. Okay, and I should have said it a little bit harder there, so I caught myself. Ha. All right. Make sure you kind of have that rough part of it when you're saying it. So once again, ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya. All right. Make sure you get that. Practice that over and over and over so you become familiar with it. All right. Now we actually have the soft ka. Okay. This is the soft ka that we want to be familiar with. How does this look?
Let's see.
Okay.
Like Pac-Man.
Kind of like a Pac-Man. That's how I think of it. Kind of got like a C and it's got like a mouth. Okay. So ka. All right. Okay. And then this is pretty easy because this symbol kind of lets you know what the next one is. So after the ka, we have the la. That was pretty simple. Okay. All right. So we have the ka, soft, la. Now we have the ma. How does the ma look? Okay. Kind of looks like this. I always think of a W and then it comes down with a hook. Okay. So that's how the ma looks. After the ma, then we have the. Okay, we have the na. And the ma and the na have some similarities. I always think of one looking like a W, the other one looking like a W with a hook, and this kind of looks like a V with a hook. Okay? So we have ka, la, ma, na, sa. Sa kind of looks like an antenna, or I always think of a not equal sign with a. Okay? All right? So, once again, if you're at home, practice with me. Abagada, hawaza, ha, taya, ka, lamanasa. Remember last week when I said the lamanasa? It's kind of like our elemental P. Okay, when you get here again, once again. Now, why do I keep doing this? Because you want in your head. And next week we're going to practice and see if people can say it backwards. You need to keep repeating this. Abagada, hawaza, ha, taya, ka, lamanasa. All right. So we got 3 rows. We got 3 rows. Now, what is after the lamanasa? What is after this? This is another very simple one. Okay. Okay. This is the I. All right. I think that's pretty simple. Both characters are pretty easy to remember. All right. Okay. Now after the I, you have the pa. And how does the pa look?
Like a J.
Kind of like a J. Okay, kind of looks like a J. Okay. All right. Now you got the I, pa. We got the character down here. What comes after the pa? Okay, we got the taza. Okay, we have the taza here. All right. Now we have the qua. How does the qua look? Kind of like looks like an umbrella. Reminds me of like an umbrella. Line coming down. Okay. All right. Now we got this character. It kind of reminds me of a 4. What does this look like? Or what character is this? Okay, this is the Ra. Okay. Now we have the Shah. Okay, so we got through this part. Got to the last row, the last full row. Now we have the Shah. What does the Shah look like? What's the character look like? It looks like a W. All right. All right. And then after the Shah, the last one would be a. All right, the Tha. All right. All right. So I believe everybody's probably mastered this by now. We're going to check. But let's go over this once again to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, together. Abagada hawaza hataya ka lamanasa ataza kwa rashata. All right. That's how, okay, so this should already be copied in your notes by now. We went through this, and maybe a week or so, we're going to go over the Assyrian. But you still need to know the ancient because really that's more than likely the language and the way we're going to, the written part is the way we're going to more than likely get back to. All right? And this is more than likely the Yahweh Shah and all of them probably also knew this way as well as the Assyrian. But you need to know both, but make sure you know this way. All right. Now that most people have already gone over the alphabet, now, this is what we need to do today. We are going to, you need to go to last week's sight word list. If you don't have it, you can recopy it. Last week's sight word list, we went over our sight words. We're going to go over the sight words again, but this time we're going to go over how to write them, okay, because they have to be written in a certain way. So we're going to go over how to write them. Okay, the first word that I think all of us should know, of course, is Yahweh. Okay, that is the Most High's name. Okay, and we talked about last week how to write the words. Now remember, you're going to check over here, because there are people at home, you're going to check over here how to write it and go on this side. Okay, we talked about how to write words in the ancient Hebrew. Okay, now, we talked about last week, if the sound stands alone, okay, then you would put a connector that looks like, well, it's not really connected. You would put a symbol that looks like this. It's kind of like a upside down smiley face, I like to call it, under it, because that means you're going to hear the full sound of that character. So if I hear the full sound, so if I see this is a Yah and I have this character under it, that means I'm going to hear the Yah, okay? And you look over here, so Yah. So when you see that it has a symbol under that looks like an upside down smiley face. That's how I say it. Okay. I think when we're learning English, I think that's a symbol maybe for a short vowel sound, maybe long. Can't remember now. It's been a long time since I've been in elementary school. Okay. But this shows that you're going to hear the sound by itself. This means that the sound can stand alone. Okay, ya. Okay, and we go over here, ya. Ka. Okay. Now the next symbol. Okay, so we have Yahweh. So we heard the ya sound. Okay. Now we go back over here and we see the ha sound. So Yaha. Okay. Yaha. Okay. So we hear that sounds alone too. Or Yaha. Okay. Okay. So this ha also stands alone. All right. So we go back over here. This stands alone. But the last part, and I circled here, the last part, you see the wa and the ha. Now they have something different. The wa and the ha don't stand alone. They're connected with each other. So we have the symbol. We have something where it's called a connector. This connects both of the characters together. And when both characters are connected together, what you're going to do is you're going to pretty much keep the first character. The first character is going to keep its sound. You're just going to connect it with the last character, and the last character is going to drop its last letter. Now, I know that sounded like a lot, but I'll explain it. Okay? So, we say ya, it stands alone, ha, wa. Now, you heard the wa here, but the wa is connected to that ha. Okay? So that ha is just going to be connected to the wa, but we're not going to include the a to that ha. So it's ya, ha, wa. Okay? So the wa and the ha, they're connected, but that ha is going to drop its last letter. So we wouldn't say Yahweh ha or Yahweh ha. We wouldn't say that, okay? Because since this is connected to this, it's going to drop its last letter, and it's just going to be connected as kind of like one sound. So it kind of, when it's connected, it makes one sound. Yahweh. Okay, this wa makes one sound. All right? We'll talk about it some more as we go through it. All right? Now, I have a ba here, and we know ba means in. I put this here so you just know it stands alone. Ba. Okay, it stands by itself. All right?
That's why we're reading the Syrian. They don't have a connection. That's why we don't know what's joined with each other sometimes.
Common. What helps us when you're slacking? Yes, a good question. When we go over the Assyrian, there is some rules in the Assyrian that you can. The Assyrian does not have these connectors. That's the question. Well, that was the statement saying. When we learn the Assyrian, there's some rules in the Assyrian that you can kind of, after a lot of practice, tell what would be connected or not. Maybe an example is in the Assyrian, if you have a if you have a ba and it's followed by a ra, then you kind of know it's going to be connected to make the sound bar. Con. So after a while, so there's certain rules when you see certain words connect next to each other, you kind of know. There was a great statement that you'll kind of know what's connected. A little different here. When you're reading the Assyrian, Slaki. When you're reading, and Salak's a word we're going to go over today. When you read the ancient's a little bit easier because you can kind of see what's connected or not. But the Assyrian doesn't have these connectors. Sorry, folks, it doesn't. All right. But let's go to the next one. Ha is the connector. We have a symbol here showing it stands by itself. The last time we stopped off with is the word Sham. And Sham means name or reputation. Okay? So Sham has the Sha and the Ma, they're together, but they're connected to make one sound. We wouldn't say Shama, we would say Sham. And what we do is you keep the whole Sha sound. So the Sha, okay, the Sha, find it down here, okay, the Sha is right here. You're going to say Sha, but you're going to connect it with the Ma. when you connect it with that ma, the only thing that's going to sound you're going to hear is the first part of the ma. So sham, we wouldn't say shama, we would say sham. Okay, so that's like, because the ma, we drop the second letter or the second sound from, well, it's really we drop the second letter from them to make sham. All right, sham. All right, so that's what the connector's for. So these are connected. Now, if it wasn't connected, it would be shama. Okay, but it is connected here. So if it's not connected, then each character is going to have its own sound. That means each character is going to stand alone. If it is connected, it's like the first one does the talking, and the second one, does half the talking. Sham. Okay, it's like half of it's there. All right, now let's go to the next one. Okay, now the next one is Yahweh Shai. Okay. Next one, and that is Savior or Deliverer. We know that is Yahweh Shai. We know that's talking about Christ. He was the deliverer of Israel. Okay, he's the Savior of Israel. Now, if you notice, Yahweh Shai has Yahweh's name in it. And that's one of the reasons he said, I come in my Father's name. And even though he's more than like talking about he's coming in his Father's reputation, he literally has his Father's name in his name. Okay? All right, so you got Yahweh Shai. So let's follow the rules. Okay, Yahweh Shai. So we know if we go look at Yahweh, okay, then at least Yah is going to stand alone. Okay, so let's see. So we got the Yah here. Okay, this is supposed to be from your homework. So those, of course, I know everybody did their homework. I mean, everybody does their homework, of course. All right, so you're going to pretty much you're going to compare your homework that you were supposed to do last week to what I'm doing now, okay? So, Yah, so if we have the Yah here, does it have a connecting symbol or does it stand alone? Have a standalone symbol. Okay, it should have a standalone symbol. So that's Yah, Ha. Let me actually write it all out first. Yah, Ha, Wa. Okay, and then it's got the sh. Okay. Now this should be pretty simple because, and then you got the O at the end. Okay. All right. This should pretty much show you what's connected. All right, but we'll still go over it. So the Yah, of course, it's going to stand alone. We can hear that. Ha, of course, that stands alone. Wa, the only difference is that this Wa stands alone. So now we have this, Yahweh Shai. Now, you should tell what's going to be, these two are going to be connected because we don't even see an A at the end of this. We don't say Shai, we say Yahweh Shai. Okay? So these two are connected. So, Yahweh Shai. All right? All right? So, pretty simple. Okay? Now, the next one, which I like, and which was one of the things that we already talked about last week, when a man would say to another man when greeting each other, we'd say Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak. And we went over Barak. Barak means bless. Okay? So, all right, so let's write Barak here. We got the Ba here. Okay. Ba. Okay. And then the Ka. All right. Of course, everybody did this for their homework, so this is just review to everybody. Okay. So I can.
Yeah, Ba right there.
No, that's let me make it look a little better. Good point though. All right. So we have Barak. Now, which one is going to stand alone looking at this? Okay. All right. Of course, you got it. The Ba is going to stand alone. Okay. Now we hear rock. Now we don't hear raka. We hear rock. We don't hear raka. So if we don't hear the ka at the end where the ka is at, then we know that the one proceeding before it is going to be connected. Barak. So this is Barak. So that's connected. Because if it wasn't, it would be baraka. Okay? So this barak here, this rock kind of makes its own sound, but the ra still does the talking. Okay? So barak. All right? Those at home, make sure you put in this. Well, you already did put it. Okay? But just make sure you're reviewing. All right? Now, our next one, we have a tha. Okay? So, if we have a tha here, and you can actually sometimes see the words there. I mean, you can see the stuff. You can see it there. All right? So, if I have a tha here, what's my first character going to look like? It's going to be a, okay? It's going to be this. Okay, it's going to be the ah sound. Okay, that's right over here. Make sure you're using this chart too, folks, that you're at home. Okay, that's the ah sound. Now, we have a tha here. Okay, now a tha, we hear the tha. Okay, all right, we hear the tha, so let's put the tha here. Okay, we have a tha, and then we have a ha at the end. But we don't hear a tha ha. We don't hear that. So we don't hear a tha ha. What two characters? Well, let me put the ha there. Okay. If we don't hear the tha ha, then what two characters are going to be connected? Well, first of all, let's get the one that stands alone. What stands alone? Of course, you got it. The that stands alone. That's letting us know it stands alone. But now we have tha. Okay, we don't have tha. So let's actually, excellent. You got it at home. I know you were saying it. So that means the tha and the ha are connected because we hear tha. All right, and this kind of stands as one sound. All right, tha, tha. All right. Now, okay. The next one, all right, make sure you follow along. Make sure you're getting these words down too at home. Make sure you're writing them, okay? Make sure you're writing all these words down. All right, the next one we have, shamar, which means to watch or guard. You know, when you're talking to a sister or a sister's talking to another sister, then what do they say? Yahweh shamar. Shamar means to watch or guard, okay? So, I'll give you a few seconds at home. Tell me what character would come first in shamar. Give me about 10 seconds. Think about it at home. You see shamar, make sure you're using your list to move up. Make sure you're using your list to be able to do that. Okay? Practice it. Don't just look at me on the screen. Practice it, and before I say it, so that you're, looking at it. Look at this. Look at the word shamar. Make sure you're writing it. Okay? What character would come first? Give about 5 more seconds. All right, those that are home that are watching me, okay? You see the sha here. So I would say sha. Okay? Now, you see mar. What are the next characters or two characters or one character, whatever you think? Figure that out. You got shamar. What's the next character or two characters that you see? Or what do you see next? Let's do one at a time. What's the next character you see? Okay. All right. You guessed it. It would be the ma. You see the ma right here. Okay. All right. So let's put the ma there. Okay. What's the last character you see? We got the sha and the ma. What's the last one? We see this R, but there's no just an R that stands by itself in the Hebrew. The R would be the what? It would be the what class? Okay, it would be this ra, but we don't see an A here. Okay, so this lets us know we got to do some connecting. Okay, so what will we connect? Okay, you got it. Well, first of all, what stands alone? The sha. The sha will stand alone. Okay, mar. Now, if it wasn't connected, what would it be? It would be shamara, but we're not doing shamara. Because these two are connected, so it would be shamar. Remember, got to drop that last one. Okay, you got to drop that last letter. All right, when it's connected, the N letter has to be dropped. I mean, the N the sound of the last one has to be dropped because it would be shamara if it was not dropped, but it's shamar. Okay, but remember the one before it, the one that's connected to, the one preceding it, you will still hear it sound shama, shamar. Okay, but it's still kind of like making that one sound. All right, got 3 more to go. Okay, this is pretty simple. I think everybody should be able to get this one. Okay, ow. You know, Yahweh Shamar, ow is over. You know, when we say ow, so we're saying over. Okay, we're asking when we're talking to the sister talking to another sister, she's asking Yahweh to watch. We're asking Yahweh to watch over that sister. Okay, just kind of like a father watch over his children. Okay, ow. Okay, well, we know that owl is always, it stands alone anyway because it doesn't have any letter following it. So we got an I here. I'm not owl, I mean the I. Okay, so we look over here. So we know we got to put an O here. And remember, just those that are maybe joining us, Hebrew is written from right to left. Those of you might look confused, okay? We're always reading, when we're reading English, we're going left to right, okay? But when you're reading the Hebrew, always read from right to left. That's why I'm writing this way if you're just joining us today. Okay, because some people might be like, well, why is it writing backwards? Okay. Anciently, it was right to left. Okay. So, this is left to right so that because we're in the English culture. All right. So owl, we'll do okay, so I see owl. So I see this here, but I don't see no L in the ancient Hebrew language. Why? Because there is just no L. We have the la, okay? And that is the character, all right? So we have the la, but remember, it's dropped. So we'll just put, okay? So the L would be, and this is pretty simple too because it looks like an L, all right? All right, so the L would be here, and what am I doing? I'm just connecting them. Because it wouldn't say I la, it wouldn't say that. It says ow. Okay? So you just connect these two. All right? You connect these two together. And you have ow. Okay? So, but if it wasn't connected, it would be I la. But it's ow. Okay? Because they're just connected. All right? Now, what do we have next? Got 2 more. Those that are writing this. Okay, everybody should be writing this. We have a thumb. Now, if you were paying attention to a tha, okay, remember a thumb is the plural of a tha, masculine. Okay, so a tha is you, singular. You could say that to a brother or a sister. But when we have a thumb, it's plural, masculine. So that means it's only dealing with men. Okay, or if you're saying a thumb, and you got a couple sisters and you got a man there, you always go masculine first. A thumb. Okay? This is really for the brothers. Okay? So sisters, when you're responding back, if a brother greets you, if there's 2 brothers that greet you, you would respond back. You would say Yahweh Shamar ala thumb. I've heard people say ala thun. I've said it too, but it's really ala thumb, sisters, when you're responding back to those brothers because it's masculine. Okay? So, a tha, all right, so what do we have here? First thing we have, it's our first letter, okay? We have the we'll write the here, okay? What do we have next, class? Okay, we have the and we have the tha that comes next. We got the tha, okay? Put a tha here. And is it a thumma? Of course not. It's a thumb. So, do we have a ma? So that ma has lost the A, but what does the ma look like? Go back to your chart. Remember, it looks like the W with the hook. Okay? So, we have and stands alone again. And now we have thumb, almost making like one sound, okay? Thumb. Okay, and that's connected. Pretty piece of cake. All right, last one. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. Then let's give you about 20 seconds. I want you to write the last one alone. we have, while I'm talking, you need to write it. A fun, okay? A fun is what you would say to a group of sisters, okay? Because the N at the end is letting you know that it's some sisters. So a fun, that's you or y'all, plural, feminine. That is the feminine term, okay? In language, you have masculine and feminine words, okay? Just like in Spanish, you have masculine and feminine words. Even in a lot of language, you have masculine and feminine, okay? You have masculine. So if you take another language, you know another language, that makes a lot of sense. If you haven't, I think all of us have, at least some of the form of another language. Like if you took Spanish in high school, you know there's masculine and feminine words. Okay, so a fun is a feminine word, okay, meaning plural, and it's, you all, okay, plural. All right, now, you should have enough time to write, but let's go over it. You got the again. Okay, you have the th. And then you have a na at the end. Okay? Now, once again, you hear the and then thun. So the th and the na are connected. You wouldn't say thana, you would say thun. So these two are connected. All right? So, this was your sight words from last week. Okay? Your sight words from last week. We're going to go over the sight words for this week, and your homework for this lesson is to write the ancient Hebrew for your sight words for next week. I'm going to quiz you. Also, you should be able to say that alphabet really fast by next week, okay? Maybe give a prize to whoever, not really a prize, but a thumbs up, to whoever can say it backwards, okay? Maybe you can call in, all right? So, all right, now, for this week, we're just going to go over some new Hebrew sight words that I want you to know. And why do we go over sight words? Why are sight words important? Because, we want to start out with just some sight words, but then we're going to get into more conversations. Because really, to really learn a language, you have to immerse yourself and hear conversation and hear the way it's said. But we want to start off with sight words are words that you're going to hear a lot of people say in the school, or just, you're going to hear this a lot. You're going to hear that a lot, okay? And that's the Most High's name in the reputation of Christ. Bless you, okay? You're going to hear that. That's the main thing you're going to hear, and you're going to hear shalom. Okay, we'll probably put that as a sight word too for today, okay? All right. So you're going to hear a lot of these words, okay? You're going to hear this. This is why we go over the sight words because these are words you're going to hear a lot, maybe see in a biblical text, or that you're going to be hearing brothers and sisters just use. Okay? All right? So, like I said, let's go over this Hebrew word. First one is shalom. Let's write shalom here. Okay, shalom. All right? And shalom, we know, most people should probably know what this is, but if not, now it's not shalom. Like that's how the Yiddish, with the Yiddish man, remember we talked about, if you were in our first class, we learned that the Hebrew that you hear the Khazarian Jewish man say is it's not the real Hebrew, it's a bastard language. It's mixed with Russian. Okay, that's Yiddish. Okay, you will hear them say shalom. Well, we learned, let me put this up here real quick. We learned from our first class that you only see and hear two vowels in the Hebrew. The and the I. That's it. You're not going to see an E or an O or a U. You're not going to see that. Okay? You're not going to see that. We're just going to see an and an I. That's it. Those are the only two vowels you are going to see. So, going back, it's shalom. Okay? And many people, probably know what this means, common word. You hear the Arabs, in their variation, they got it from us. They say salam. We say shalom, which is peace. Okay, of course, and this is how Yahweh greeted his disciples, his apostles after he came on the third day when he presented himself to them. He said, "Shalom." Okay, peace. You want you want peace. You want you want your brothers and sisters to be at peace. Okay, we know Yahweh is a man of war, and we want him to fight for us. Because when we turn back to our law, statutes, and the commandments, they will put us at peace. And Yahweh will fight for us. That's why we don't have to put our hands on our enemies. Because, when we go back to these law, statutes, and commandments, then we will have peace. Because with the blessings comes peace. All right? So shalom is peace. Now, what you're going to do for your homework is going to write the ancient. Okay? So shalom is one. You're going to hear shalom a lot. What else are you going to hear? You're going to hear people in the school say Fawada. You're going to hear that a lot. Okay? And that just means that's like thank you. Okay? Fawada. All right? You're going to hear people say that in the school. Okay? And you can practice that. Thank you. Somebody do something, thank you. Okay? You're going to hear Fawada a lot. Okay. All right. What else are you going to hear? You're going to hear this word a lot. You're going to hear tawab. Okay. Tawab. You're going to see this word a lot. Okay. What's tawab means? Tawab means good. Now, I'm not going to do opposites because I know some people are like, well, what about the welcome? What about evil? I'll do those. Now, I'm just trying to give you common words that you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear more tawadas than anything. You're going to hear tawab a lot. So like I said, there's some. You get back. Okay, you're just going to. These are words. These are like common words that you're going to hear a lot. Okay. What else you're going to hear in the school? Or you're going to hear. You're going to hear this a lot. Salak, God. You're going to hear that a lot. It's another sight word, okay? You're going to hear Salakia a lot, all right? You're going to hear that a lot, okay? Why are you going to hear Salakia a lot? Because, even though it really, Salak really means, Salak, okay, so the root word for Salakia really means, is the word Salak. I'll box this in. Okay, I'll box that in. Okay? And Salak really means forgive. Okay, so if you hear Salak Yah, they're really saying forgive me. Yah is like me. Okay, so it's like forgive me. Salak Yah. Okay, but it comes from the word Salak. Salak means forgive. You're going to see it here this a lot in school. Okay, so let me see. All right. So, let's see, Shalom, Tawada, Tawab, Salakia. Okay? Remember, homework. I'm going to put these, I'm going to write them down. All right? Let's do a few more. Okay? What else are you going to probably hear or you need to know? Okay? I showed you last week that in the Hebrew, when we start out the alphabet, okay, we have Abba. Okay, Abba, and now you can tell this to Moshe because Abba, the first two letters of the Hebrew alphabet lets you know something. It's telling you, it's saying a word already, it means father. Okay, so let's get Abba down. Okay, Abba. Okay, that's an important word that means father. Need to know that word. Good word to know. Okay. Please. Yeah, please. We'll go over that. I'll put that in my next group.
You can't write that down.
I could. All right. Yeah. I'll make that my last one. Come. All right. So Abba, that's father. Okay. All right. Next one. So since we got father here, we have Amma. And everybody probably should know what Amma means. Amma means mother. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Yeah, I said I get 7, so I'll eat off of yours. All right, you didn't need to know that. You can teach your children. Okay, so you got Abba, father, Amma, mother. Okay, last one, you're going to hear this a lot. Well, there's pretty more, but. Okay, you're going to hear this a lot. Baba Kwasha. Okay, and brother here, I appreciate what he said because you're going to hear that word a lot too. Baba Kwasha. Okay, you're going to hear that a lot, and that is thank you. Not thank you, Salaki. I mean, please. I'm sorry. Salaki. See, I already used the word Salaki. Okay, that is please. Okay. Okay. Baba Kwasha is like please. All right. You notice I already said Salaki. I told you you're going to hear us say that a lot. Okay. So let's go over them. Shalom, Tawad, Salaki, Abba, Amma, Baba Kwasha. Okay. It should give us 7 here. Like to just have 7 sight words per week so you can study them and know the last one kind of had a little bit more. But I'm going to leave you with these words. Homework for the next week. Everybody's going to be doing this. Write these words down, okay? In the ancient Hebrew. Write them down. How do you know to write them? Use your ancient Hebrew language sheet, okay? Use that sheet here. Use the stuff you've written down. Make sure you get these sight words down. Okay, so Shalom, Tawad, Salakia, Abba, Amma, Baba Kwasha. All right, that will be our 7 for this week. Okay, so let's review. We reviewed our Hebrew alphabet. Let's go over that again. Okay, Abba, Gada, Hawaza, Ha, Taya, Ka, Lamanasa. I pa taza kwa ra sha ta. Hebrew alphabet. Okay. Let's go over our old sight word. Yahweh. That's the Most High's name. Okay. You got the Yah, the Ha, and then the Wa and the Ha are connected. If you see a symbol that looks like this, that means the sound stands on it by itself. Yah, Ha, Wa. Yahweh, okay? All right, next one, Ba. Okay, I just wrote this symbol so you know it stands alone, but this is self-explanatory. You really don't have to have this here. I just wrote it so we can understand. Okay, Ha stands alone. Okay, I just put the symbol there so we can understand. Next word, Sham, name, reputation. The Sha and the Ma. Okay, but we don't say Shama. We say Sham. So since we say Sham, you hear the Sha. And you have to drop that last A to make it one sound, Sham. Okay, and they're connected. Next one, Yahweh Shah, Savior, Deliverer. Okay, once again, Yah. You see that symbol? It means the sound stands alone. Yah, Ha. You hear the Ha stands alone. Wa, the Wa stands alone. Shah, Yahweh Shah. Okay, and that Shah and that I are connected. Yahweh Shah. All right. Next one. Barak, okay? Ba-ra-ka. But we're not saying baraka. We say ba because we see that symbol here. That means that's going to stand alone. Rock, okay? And it's not R-O-K. Remember, there's no O vowel sounds in Hebrew. There's no O vowel sounds, okay? So we have the ba-rock. So the ra and the ka are connected. Rock. Okay, baraka. And how do we know? They're connected here. Next one, atha. That means you singular. You could say that to a brother or a sister. Doesn't matter. Okay, it's just you singular. You got the right here is a symbol. It stands alone. Then you have the tha. Okay, the tha and the ha are connected. Tha. Okay, it makes one sound. It's not tha, it's tha. All right. Next one, shamar. It's not shamara. So What do we hear here? We see the sha right here. Sha, and then we see the ma, and then we see an R by itself. But you know the R over here has an A at the end, but since it's connected, you drop the A to make mar. Okay, so the ma and the ra are connected to shamar. Okay, ow. You got the I and you got the L. The L would be the la, but it's not I la, it's I. So you got the I and it's connected to the L. So the L has to drop that one, so it's I. A thumb. Okay, next one. You got the A right here. Okay, the The stands alone because look at the symbols. And then we have thumb. We don't have thumma, we have thumb. This th is connected to the ma. The ma has to drop that A, thumb. Same thing with a thun. Okay? The stands alone, the th and the na are connected, thun. All right? So that's how these are sight words from last week, and this is how to write them. Okay? We got our sight words for this week. 7, shalom means peace. The word thank you, tawab good. Salakia comes from the word salak, which means forgive. Abba means father. Amma means mother. Baba Kwasha means please. All right? So that is from your homework for this week. Write these words in the ancient Hebrew, okay, with this with the connectors or with the symbols. All right? And with that, we're going to turn this over to Officer Gabar Rakab, Officer of 1,000. And with that, shalom, everyone.
Shalom, we're the Israelite School, University of Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohan. These rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. Means 10th in the Hebrew. And it's pronounced Mayashra. 10% of any penny of 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will, offering for priests. Not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. We're still waiting on Passover. What's coming up next?
The memorial blowing the trumpet, September 17th.
Memorial blowing on the trumpet, September 17th. Remind Akim Agwal to check on social media such as ICBK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ICBK events and materials. If the brother wants to be a treatment at school, he is to start wearing all black, which includes black blue shirt, pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one encouraging salute to the teacher of Israel, Amani. Amani Shabbat, Amani, Rock, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
Pastor Smith, Elder Ty, Pastor Smith. Sure.